Before we approve the minutes, I want to welcome Mayor Dardis here, as well as Commissioners Pepcorn and Strand, as always. Thank you. You have before you the minutes for the February 25th, 2020 meeting. Are there any revisions or corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, minutes stand approved as printed. Before you have the airport vouchers totaling $57,839.99. Are there any revisions or questions about those?
No. Motion to approve as well as the individual items.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call vote.
Haugen.
Aye.
Engen.
Aye.
Lind.
Aye.
Clark. Clark.
Aye.
Lynn.
Aye. Let's see. Let's go to number 5. Received update on proposed car rental ready lot reconstruction project.
Okay. John Scraper, you want to handle that?
Morning.
Morning.
Jared's here now.
I stand up. Slide those around.
You bet.
You got one?
Yep. Thank you.
We've been working on the plans for the rental car ready lot reconstruction. You'll see on the first page when it comes around to you, this will be the proposed layout moving forward. Right now there's kind of a curved layout that matches the curvature of the road out there. And the reason we're going to do that is twofold. One is it makes it much easier to maintain the lot for snow removal in the future. They can just push snow straight out of there, as well as we gain 11 extra spots. So use that space a little bit more efficiently and make it easier to clear snow out of there in the future. The last thing we have to finalize right now is because we're reconfiguring the parking spaces, we're moving some of the lights in there. We're checking light coverage. I think we're going to need to add a couple and then also remove a few. Sheet 2 is obviously, since we're going to be reconstructing it, we won't be able to have any rental car activities in that space. So the red is the work site. So for efficiency, we're just going to get in there and tear it up and do the whole thing at once instead of trying to do it in pieces and phases and have pedestrians out there intermingling with construction. So that whole area will be closed. We're going to move rental car ready out to the green area, and then rental car return will move over to the purple area. So we're going to take a piece of the long-term lot as well as the economy lot temporarily for about a month to make the project happen. And we had a meeting with the car rental agencies as well as SP Plus, and I think that this is a pretty decent solution for all the parties. And we've addressed most of the concerns.
James here and Bernie.
What's that time, Bernie? What did you say?
I said Bernie Ness is here from the car rental agencies. So.
Do you have any comments, Bernie?
No, we talked about it, and this is our best solution.
Okay.
I think it's going to be doable.
Okay. What's the timeline?
We're going to try and hold them to a month.
And when does it start?
I want to start it after the 4th of July.
Okay.
Kind of a busy weekend that time, and then that's our best, driest, hottest weather, so we'll be able to get the best chance of getting them in and out of there in 30 days.
Okay. Any questions? Comments? Is there a motion to receive the report? Do we have
just an update?
Just an update. Okay.
All right.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
All right.
Jared is here.
Receive an update from Flint Communications. Yep.
Yep, it's folded in.
Okay. Well, I printed extra copies in case you're short. Well, good morning, and thank you for having Flint here again to our annual presentation for our media budget. I am running solo today. I'm Tara of the Flint Group. My counterparts, Sadie and Alicia from the PR and media team, they had conflicts this morning, so I will do my best to present their parts in a high-level fashion, but if you do have some specific questions, I know I can reach out to them afterwards. So this year, 2020, is our year 3 of our 3-year Find Your Reason to Fly Fargo campaign. It's an awareness campaign reaching 25. Same if you've taken a look at the budget compared to last year. The major shift in any of the media spend has been from the local TV stations. We've shifted probably $5,000 away from that line item this year, and we've shifted that to over-the-top TV. And what over-the-top TV is pre-roll TV commercials on your smart TV. So we know a lot of people are cutting the cord from cable TV and turning to a smart TV with TV apps such as Hulu or the Roku or Apple TV, things like that. And these TV spots will run very similar to what you see on normal TV, but you're running it on the digital side. So that is the major shift in the media plan. So we devoted $15,000 in the fall flight to the over-the-top TV. I know that was a very high-level explanation of that, but do you have any questions of over-the-top? And I'll try. Okay. If anybody's familiar with that, they run sometimes mid show or right before the show starts. It just depends on that. The nice thing about over-the-top is you can do more behavioral targeting, so based on interests. So what they're searching on Google, right? They're searching travel packages or they're searching air flights. You're able to target a little bit better based on your audience. So that is for TV. Radio, we dropped just a little bit, a couple thousand again, so we're just kind of shifting. You can see the shift a little bit from traditional media, kind of shifting some of those dollars back to the digital side. Print, we kept steady. Everything is the same. We have Bison Illustrated, Prairie Business, the North Dakota Travel Guide, the Chamber Directory, Bison Sports Programs, football and basketball, and the Red Hawks Outdoor Fence, or the outfield pins. So online media, we have just a shift of probably, I think that was a change in a few $1,000s increase from last year. But again, we're staying with the Forum Network, 100 Mile Radius of Fargo, Valley News Live, and Google Display Network. That includes some responsive ads. So again, responsive ads are opportunity to reach those who, again, are maybe searching that content and they're responding to that search behavior. Promoted social posts. Same as last year, really. We're just kind of dedicating to each airline a certain budget every month to do timely promoted content based on what's happening, what's current. You know, if there's a new flight option, you know, we're going to boost those posts in the next few months. So yeah, overall media budget, we are, from last year, we're an increase of $10,000. So we're at $174,639. And then in addition to the media, we have dedicated $25,000 for public relations. And that again is, you know, Sadie, she would have loved to have been here, but she's been, you know, our PR lead on the Hector account, and she's done a wonderful job kind of maintaining the awareness and proactive outreach just based on trigger leads, anything happening with the airport authority, airport updates, amenities, the art installations, things like that, just kind of continuous ongoing PR support. And then the social, let's see, we have social management at $24,000. So that averages about $2,000 a month to maintain the content on your social platforms, answer questions as people have questions about flights, or if they're concerned about, you know, typical delays or de-icing equipment shortages, you know, those kinds of things that we're there to help answer those questions and help educate them. And then we do have a line item for website maintenance. The website is coming up on 5 years old. So this line item may shift to a larger amount down the road, but this is just a nice amount of dollars to reserve for general maintenance, and it's just a safety line item there in case anything, just a bug happens or anything happens with the site. So I'll bump back. Just creative updates, creating ads, display ads, social creative. They use a lot of stock photography, so stock photography can range from $25 a photo to $50. So all of that creative budget is in that line item of $15,000. So that is a very, very high level. I know I probably went really fast, but I know it's year 3 of 3, and the budget is very similar to last year. We are running right now, we're running the 10-second takeables for the shuttle service through the end of March. So you'll see those on cable network TV. You'll see that line item, the 10-second takeable. So those types of seasonal amenities, we're happy to continue to promote. And we've had open discussions with Sean, and he's been so great with letting us know what's happening and keeping us updated. So we thank you for keeping us rolling on our end. Yeah. Any questions or comments, suggestions on changes?
I thought it was interesting and kind of a
Sorry,
shout out.
I didn't go over the impression numbers.
I thought that was great. The impressions
Yeah.
of in 2019, the social media recap.
Yeah.
Because this is my background, and so I'm very interested. 3,094,376 impressions on our social media, which included the majority of those, of course, were Facebook.
Right.
And I thought that's just great. And the top posts I thought were really good. And you might want to talk, highlight that.
Sure. Sorry, I completely overlooked that sheet.
No, that's fine.
Excellent. Social media continues to grow, which is expected. Impressions, they're very impressive. Over 3 million impressions. So impressions meaning if someone is following the airport, they're seeing the post, or if they're sharing a post, say it's a travel alert, or maybe it's a low fare alert and they want to go to Hawaii with their family, they're sharing that, and their friends or their followers are seeing that, and that's what adds the impression number. So it's not just what Hector's sharing, but there's people engaging. Engagement is up 23.7%. Engagement means shares, likes, comments. So people are engaging very well with any of the social posts. So we're excited about that. Giveaways are always, you're going to see that across the board, no matter who you are. Giveaways, people just love those, but it creates great awareness. So of your offerings. And the latest duffel one, I think we had over 300 people who entered to win that duffel for spring break, so it was great. Overall, that's social just continues to flourish. So,
And I want to do a shout out to Darren and you guys.
Yes.
They keep us up to date.
Great.
That you guys really do. When something's going on, you alert many of us, and so we at least need know if we have to address something.
Right. Yeah.
So that's
absolutely.
great.
Yep.
Any questions?
Madam Chairman, I've got one question about what do we do for the industry and business partners around, engineering associations or manufacturing associations. I know how we target social media, but I'm just wondering, do you get out the word about the airport to those organizations?
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely on Sadie's. If you look at the PR overall ongoing approach, that's definitely part of the strategy there. And as well as our quarterly email updates from the airport, we give quite a lengthy email to civic leaders and stakeholders and media groups every quarter about what's happening. So it's really kind of a business update.
I like that because I think we started the e-newsletter 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And that So you use your database or does Sean?
Yep, we do use ours.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, the
Sean's-
database, yeah, the
or
list
the
comes from the airport,
airport.
yeah.
Okay.
But we send it through our environment.
Good.
Mhm. Comes from Sean. Yep.
And I think one thing we'll be also adding to that, and we'll be talking about this in a couple minutes, is our High Flyer Awards.
Yes.
So we've got the
That's
first one
excellent.
that's going to be out for recognizing an employee.
That's wonderful. Yeah, that's exactly the engagement we're looking for.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any more questions? Comments? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time.
Uh-huh. Great job. Sean, I received an update regarding foreign trade zone operator agreement with DigiKey.
Okay. As we reported earlier, DigiKey is moving forward with activation of their foreign trade zone just north of the airport here, and their Thief River Falls operation as well. So working with Foreign Trade Zone Corporation, our consultant, we put together the operators agreement that you'll need to approve today, which is the final piece of their process before they get their letter of activation from Customs and Border Protection. So the agreement that you have here is identical to the agreement that we have with CNH and have had for some time. The schedule of user fee stays the same. The startup fee, the annual user fee, we will be offering the discount to both DigiKey and CNH for multiple users in the zone. So instead of the $15,000, we would afford them a $5,000 discount each in that process. So your approval of this agreement today, and I guess if you have any questions, it's working out well.
Any questions? Is there a motion?
Move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the foreign trade zone operator agreement with DigiKey Corporation. Any other discussion? Do we need a roll call on this?
Just to
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Same sign? Okay. Number 7, receive proposal for change order number 1 to SRE Building Project Architectural Services Contract.
Hi. If you guys remember, we had a little bit of things to do with regards to, it wasn't too long ago that the watershed district had started to put some things in place for their drainage ditches to protect them. And so, for instance, this drainage ditch has a 175-foot setback, no build zone, which of course everything's in because it was something they put in place not that long ago. And so we've actually, this is the second one I've been involved in. We're actually roughly lining up our building with the old SRE building. But one of the things that they can ask for more engineering is the architect that works, or engineer that works for them. They ask for a stability assessment of the drainage ditch. We're not really coming very close to it. We'll have some pavement that comes up to it, and you can pave close to it, but you can't have a building. And we're in the thing, so we got a waiver on that. Actually, John went to the meeting, and we got an exception on that. And they just requested us to do some additional soil tests to make sure that they feel like the bank of the drainage ditch was stable, and that came actually really late in the game. And I just got the report in an email late last night. I'm assuming it's fine. Typically, if it wasn't, Dan would have said something in the email. He just sent the email. But it's something we had to do to satisfy the watershed people.
Okay. Any questions?
It's just we're just forwarding it on. We're
Yeah.
not taking a markup on it or
Okay.
anything. We're just forwarding it on.
Any questions? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve it?
Yep, because receive proposal, so it would be,
Yes.
okay. Is there a second? All right, would this be a voice vote?
Yes.
Yes. Roll call vote?
Alderman? Lynn?
Aye.
Clark?
I,
Lynn?
Aye. I saw that hesitation. Let's see, airport construction and security update. Any updates?
The only thing to add,
I can weigh in a little bit on the SRU building. We finally, Jeff pestered the FAA long enough that they finally gave us the report back. And as we anticipated, there wasn't a lot on it, but we finally got it. And so we are in the process of just kind of crossing the T's and dotting the I's. And it will be advertised in the paper come this Monday. We are having a walkthrough of the old SRE because of the remodeling and stuff on the 25th of March. And we'll be bidding it the 7th of April.
Good.
And so then we'll be ready to give you guys a report on that.
You know, might be an interesting idea. It would be nice if you guys would videotape the walkthrough so we can see before and after pictures. Because
we have a lot.
You got a lot of that.
Yeah, we have a lot of pictures.
Perfect. That's great.
Just to try to verify stuff.
Oh, yeah. Okay, good.
So, yeah.
Good.
So we've had some interesting, engineers had a kind of a final meeting with Henry and Troy, and again, it was kind of nice for them to percolate a little bit on some of the things, and so they had some other small things that we did to improve the addition, and so anyway, that's where we're at.
Okay.
do we have a date for the air cargo apron, Jeff, opening?
Advertise on the 6th of April and then open bids on 30th of April. So we're still on track to do that. At the next authority meeting, I'd like to bring forward our fee proposal for the terminal area study, just so we can get that approved and so we can start the actual process of getting that accomplished. So, and then the last thing I wanted to mention today is I'm meeting with Darren Byram after the meeting here today to look at the airfield markings on runway 1836. If you recall, last summer we had put out a project to repaint the runway, and it was, if I recall, it was July timeframe. We didn't receive any bids, and what the airport has done over the course of a number of years is when it's time to repaint, you just repaint all the markings. Well, what happens is the paint builds up over time, and inherently the paint actually doesn't stick to the pavement, it just sticks to the paint and ends up flaking off. So this project was taking a more substantial approach and removing all the paint and then repainting. So what Darren and I we're gonna look at today is reassessing it and then see if we can get by this summer, or if we move forward with another painting project. And I guess provide an update to Sean and update the authority at the next meeting. Do you have to do any rubber removal before we do the next one?
That's a good question. We'll take a look at that as well.
Our plows usually do a pretty good job of that.
Sure.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Let's see, just a few random things. City of Fargo's requested access to the airport property east of University Drive, south of County Road 20, for a borrow pit in the event of the flood. It's our decades-long example of cooperation with the city, so if they need clay, they'll have access to that farm field, and they'll be able to get clay there. Hopefully they won't need to, but if they do, they have access to it. Trip to Seattle with Alaska and Microsoft, that's been postponed because of the, issues going on in Seattle with coronavirus. February boardings, a record February. We had, with charter and passengers, it was over 45,000 passengers for the month of February, which is an all-time record. That's 18.2% up over last February, and we're up 17.9% year to date. So boardings continue to increase at this time. Overflow parking seems to be working well. Jay is here from SP Plus. We've been able to, you can see it over by the tower and so forth. There's a few cars out there, but by and large, it's manageable. The big week will be coming up starting this week, the big spring break time periods. So overflow is working there. We are expecting some flight reduction starting in early April because of the COVID-19. That is yet to be sorted out, working a little bit with United yesterday, and I'll know more about that this week as they are adjusting their fleets to the decrease in demand, both domestic and international. We expect more of that to come as time goes on. Haven't heard anything yet from Delta or Allegiant, Frontier, and others, but United is making some steps. They announced a 10% domestic reduction and 20% international reduction in flights. As far as the COVID-19 itself, there are stacks and stacks of things that are being put out by Greater Fargo-Moorhead EDC. Sent out an email yesterday to the business group about COVID-19. For the Health Department, Fargo-Cass Public Health, DOT, Homeland Security, CDC, General Services Administration, United, Allegiant, Regional Airline Association. I can forward all these to you, but they all pretty much say the same thing: wash your hands and those types of things. So. If you're interested in this, I can scan an email that was out to you, but everybody's kind of got a statement that's out there. What we've done for an airport authority as far as additional signage in the terminal about washing your hands, our staff has increased the frequency of wiping down high-touch surfaces around the area. We've added additional hand wash stations and things of that nature. I think there's more on order, I believe, if we can get them. But we've got a lot of that stuff out there in signage, so keep your hands washed and sanitized. That should work out fine. Let's see, the meeting in DC last week, our chapter officer meeting and the legislative meeting, I was in the room with Senator Cruz, who's now quarantined, but I think things are fine. We talked a lot about the PFC cap, raising the PFC cap, and there's bipartisan support in the House side to do that. I've requested, and I spoke with Congressman Armstrong on Thursday, in trying to get him a meeting with Congressman Massey from Kentucky, Republican, on the House side, who's one of the co-authors of increasing the PFC cap, so Kelly can get engaged on that. Airports are pushing to continue funding of the LEO reimbursement program. That is to offset the cost of the Fargo officers that are at the checkpoint as required by Homeland Security. And then the exit lane staffing funding, which the President's budget didn't include any. Right now the TSA is responsible to monitor the exit lanes here, and we're pushing to keep funding in there. And I think that our delegation is well in favor of those items. Not real sure where they're at on the PFC cap. So thanks to those that have sent letters off to the delegation supporting our cause with that. Outside of that, I think that takes care of what we've got. If you've got any questions on anything in general.
Hogan? Mr. Hogan?
Yeah, I'd like to just follow on. Sean was out traveling, so was I. I went to the Industrial Aviation and Military Operations Workshop in Colorado Springs. Some very interesting tours. Looked at their SRE building. They have two buildings. They wish they were all one big building, but they're not, and so they have storage. They have about the same amount of snow removal as we do, equipment I'm talking about, but they have a lot more runway, not ramp, but runway. The Air Force takes care of the Air Force side. I did meet a guy by the name of Bob Craven, who's been the Director of Airport Planning and Programming for the FAA all of 5 months, so he's brand new there. But I talked to him about grants. I talked to him about our terminal building specifically and a grant for that. The most interesting part of his presentation was he realizes that the FAA has been awarding grants late in the fiscal year, and which then means grant money arrives during the non-construction season. Nobody can use it. So his big push is to start getting grants awarded in February and absolutely no later than August. So he's, I don't know.
Good.
That was the takeaway from that one anyway. I thought it was quite good. There's another thing. About half of this group, there were 96 members in attendance. About half of them were military members from bases or airports that are co-located with Guard unit or a Naval Reserve unit or active duty Air Force. And there's an education with industry that goes on at 2 airports only in the United States, and they have currently they have 72 students who are airport or airfield managers that are transitioning out of the Air Force and going into the civilian job market. And there is a potential to establish a 10-month program here, if we were to be a volunteer airport, to pick up an Air Force individual, no cost to us, but would do a fellowship and be here, and it would entail more work for your office, Sean, because they would be transitioned to various locations on the airport, do a 1 month at the Jet Center and 1 month here in the building, and then over in the but it's it helps with their resume and getting a job if they have this 10-month program under their belt, and they can get a certification out of AAA&E as well. So that really helps. So we might want to look at being a volunteer airport. Right now, there's only 2 that are doing it.
Wow.
And they have 72 students.
Gee. Would you and Sean like to talk about that to a little greater extent?
Sure.
Or?
Yeah, we can. We get a lot of requests for internships of that nature, especially from the University of North Dakota and other flight schools from the area. Jet Center does some internships with students that are in the high school program out at West Fargo. That is from multiple schools in the region that are in the aviation program. I lectured to 5 classes out there about a week ago. A number of them are going into aviation, whether they're pilots or mechanics or in the military aviation world. So hopefully that will work out. But yeah, we're interested. We bring in a lot of different folks for 1 days or do job shadows or things of that nature. Well, the items, as you know, interest rates continue to decline, so that's impacting not only the Wells Fargo stuff, but stuff at First International, and interest rates are going down. So on the investment side, as everybody's seen, of course, with the stock market. And the only final thing I'll mention, I know Stacy's working on this, but we're at a standoff with the city on our North Dakota PERS situation with our firefighters. I don't know if that's anything the commissioners want to take back, but our firefighters qualify for a public safety retirement account with North Dakota PERS. The city does not offer that. The only way that we can get that is to have our own account with North Dakota PERS, or the city somehow figures out how to offer that to our firefighters. And right now they can't get access to it. So we've been at the standoff since January, and it's getting really frustrating. So somebody needs to move the needle on that. There's nothing to meet about. It's a matter of either the city offers it to our firefighters, and if they don't, we have our own PERS account. Very simple. All the paperwork here is ready to go to put our employees into PERS and to offer that to our firefighters, but for some reason the city can't figure it out. So.
Okay. Is that HR?
I don't know. It's so frustrating.
Doesn't the MOU guide us on that?
It should.
That's my understanding.
It should. And the city doesn't offer it because the firefighters have their own retirement account, so they don't have a PERS access to that PERS account because of the uniqueness. So our firefighters aren't part of the city's firefighter pension fund. They're in PERS. So.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I think isn't this an issue that we're going to be working on, the part of the city PEC? We're looking at the compensation for firefighters. Isn't that part of what isn't that one of our first issues that we're working on?
This is a non-PEC thing. This is just a benefit.
But this compensation for firefighters isn't that kind of the first thing that we're working on, correct? So I would assume this is part of this.
This is a benefit.
I think it's a benefit. It's not a.
This is a benefit. This has nothing to do with their pay. That's what PEC is going to do. This is
I would say it has a lot to do with their overall compensation.
Right. But I don't tie the two together. It's
what do you say, John?
Has your group started meeting to name the PEC third person? Do you know?
Yes. But they haven't. I know at least they informed us, but a meeting has not been set yet.
Well, I think we should start with that, and then we're happy to go intermediate and do what we need to understand the issue and resolve it. But this isn't new. This has been the case probably for decades, hasn't it?
No. The public safety option is new at North Dakota PERS within the last year, not even the last legislative session. So this is a new benefit that they have access to that they can't because of where they're at.
Okay.
So.
Yes.
It's my understanding that it requires us to have our own PERS account and numbers for the benefit of those employees that are firefighters, and it is not part of the city's plan but they deserve to get this immediately. This is not a payroll issue. This is a benefit they have due under state law. So I don't know as though the PEC even matters. This has to be dealt with around that immediately.
Okay.
I would think that the city firefighters and police it has to do with earlier retirement because of the stress of the job, I believe. So I would think that they would be pretty well matching if they could. I just don't know enough about it yet.
So you've been in discussion with Eric?
I have.
Okay.
And the recommendations were that, the parties would discuss it. Obviously, it's a benefit that the firefighters should get because it's available. I don't know anything about the city and police benefits, but it was just an email exchange we had last Thursday or Friday.
And it was put into, it's been around 1 year. And so,
Approximately a year.
Okay, all right. You'll continue discussion. And John, would you or either commissioners try to look into it a little bit?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. Because it is a benefit to them. And so it's either the city will do something or we have to have our own PERS.
Yeah,
and that's the only way they could get it.
Yeah, they would have to pass the same resolutions that we did to get our own PERS account information. So
Okay.
if they don't do that, then PERS is ready to put us into our own account, as was the plan for months.
Okay.
Which is very simple to do.
Okay.
So we're going to have at least 2 retirements of firefighters this year, possibly 3, and those new firefighters that come on, this is their retirement account. So.
Okay. And I think we have our first High Flyer Award that's we'll probably announce it at the next meeting, but we already have another nominee too. So we're real excited. It's a way for us to recognize employees for the exceptional service. And I worked with Darren and Joan on some of the goals and criteria, and boom, they got one in right away. So we're really excited about it. Hopefully that will recognize some of the people who probably don't always get recognized. Any other Mayor Dardis, do you have any comments, any questions?
For the last meeting when you requested that I send a letter also to the federal delegation, that was done the next day.
Thank you. I really am glad you brought that up. I really appreciated your responsiveness. It was wonderful. Commissioners, any?
I think our 2 letters went out too.
Yes.
That's good to do. Anytime you have a need for us to chime in and be bolstering your efforts, don't hesitate.
And I think just, to do the pre-planning, because I think that's what's going to, especially if we're going to have the parking lot, if that's going to be an issue, and then if we don't have a third machine, I mean, it could be just the perfect storm of for potential client dissatisfaction. So we want to try to mitigate that as much as we can. So, Commissioner Pepcorn, anything?
No.
Okie doke. Any other business? Okay, meeting is adjourned.